Hello everyone! I just want to say thank you for your continued support, and I was really happy reading all the comments you have written, and I'm grateful for all the new subscribers. Welcome to the channel. Today, I want to take the Strike Fighter deck a step further and look at how far we can take the deck just by playing for a few days without paying any real money and only dismantling the extra cards. This way, if you ever wanted to play something else, you'll still have your entire collection at your disposal. The deck I was able to achieve is this. The hardest part of this deck was getting hold of some of the ultra rares, such as the hand traps, but we still do have a decent number of hand traps, and this deck still performs well against the meta. That being said, I already have some plans to improve that even further in the future, and I will talk about how at the end of the video, but also I will talk about which cards that you may want to change from this deck. First, we have 2 copies of Effect Veiler. It's a hand trap that allows you to negate the effects of a monster during your opponent's main phase, and at least 1 copy of it is necessary for Accesscode line, and I will talk about using the Accesscode line later in this video. Then, we have 2 copies of Maxx. This card is the meta, and it's a hand trap that allows you to draw 1 card every time your opponent special summons a monster in the turn you activate it. It is turn-endingly strong. To Ash Blossom, I was lucky enough to get the second one from a pack, and the first one is from the bundle. It negates draw effect, including Maxx, which is why Ash Blossom is so necessary in this meta. It is also another tuner for Accesscode. Then, we have Raye and Roze, the main monsters of the deck. Then, we also have powerful limited 1 cards, such as Raigeki, Feather Duster, Monster Reborn, Reinforcements of the Army, and Terraforming. All of them are strong spells that are limited to 1. After that, we have 2 Engage, the heart and soul of the deck. 2 Afterburners, I certainly use this card often. 1 Jamming Waves. The lack of trap decks that I'm seeing in the meta does make me wanna cut this card, but it is searchable and you might really need it in some matchups. So it is currently at 1 in the deck right now. Lightning Storm is essentially another copy of Raigeki or Harpie's Feather Duster if you're doing seconds. Pot of Prosperity as an extra search card. I usually just banish 3, which will be probably an Hayate, a Kaina, and maybe a Zeke or a Nightmare Phoenix. But if you really want to see a certain card, you can always banish 6 as well. Do be mindful that you cannot draw cards via card effect the turn you activate this card. So it means that you won't be able to get the draw in the second effect of the Engage. But it doesn't stop you from getting the search with Engage, or it doesn't stop you from using Chidari, or from using Shizuku. The only thing it contradicts is the second effect of Engage, and I think it is fine to play Prosperity at 1. Harpie's base is here for the resource loop that I mentioned in my previous video. Area 0 is a great field spell, but you really don't want to see multiples, so I think 2 is the best number for this field spell. 2 Multirole is also an amazing card, but it can be slow at times, so I have been thinking about cutting it down to 1, but it's so good when it works, so it's a hard call. 3 Chalice is just great, the more negates the better. If you do have a ton of hand traps, you may want to cut down the numbers of the Chalice, but since I need more negates in the deck, I really like having 3 Forbidden Chalice. Cosmic Cyclone is a back row removal at quick play speed. You can also play MSD or Twin Twisters in place of it, but whatever you play, make sure it's a quick play spell so that you can chain to Imperial Order, because it can really save the game. Hornet is basically another Raye. Widow Enter is Chalice but better. Eagle Booster is a nice one-off, it can protect your cards really well, but it is a reactive card, so I can see why you might want to cut it. And finally, 2 Shark Cannon. This card was amazing at low ranks because I was just stealing monsters from my opponent's graveyard and OTKing my opponent using them as my material. However, in high ranks, I rather replace them with more negates, so these will be probably my main targets for cutting. Can easily be cut down to 1 for more hand traps. For example, if you have another Maxx, a 3rd Shark Cannon might be where you want to start the cut. For the extra deck, we have the Strike Fighter monsters, the Accesscode line, and finally Nightmare Phoenix, which is great because it's an extra deck out for Imperial Order, which means you can always have access to it. And just any monsters with different names do it, such as a Raye and a Roze. Now that we're done with the deck, let's get to some gameplay. Our first match is against Decklist Day. First, I start with a copy of Multirole, so that every spell I play after it will count towards the Multirole spell count. Then I summon a token with the Hornet drones, then immediately make that turn that token into Shizuku. With Shizuku, I just end my turn and draw my engage, but unfortunately it gets Ash Blossom. This is not a great hand for starting, however at least I have an Ash Blossom to negate them on their turn. My opponent doesn't have a good hand either. They end up setting 2 back row and a monster and pass. Once it's my turn, I link into Hayate so that I can send another card to my graveyard. I don't want to attach into my opponent's monster, so I try to attack directly and get the mill from Hayate. Unfortunately they negate the Hayate's effect, so I just draw to main phase 2, set 1, and link into Shizuku again, hopefully hoping to draw engage this time. Unfortunately, they activate Cold by the Grave targeting my Shizuku, which negates the effect of the Shizuku, so once again I am cut from getting to engage. They normal summon Turquoise and then they XC summon into Assembled Nightingale. They go into battle phase and attack me directly using Assembled Nightingale. And then they go into Downward Magician, and from Downward Magician they XC's into Zeus. They activate Zeus's effect immediately. I chain Shark Cannon to banish one of their cards in the graveyard, but not that it would matter highly, but I just don't want having more materials that take time to recover from the graveyard. Once again, it's my failures. I start with a Widow Anchor, which is really good. I already have 3 spells in grave, so I'm really hoping to steal the Zeus this time. Unfortunately, they have a D2 Crow in hand, and they will use it to banish one of my spells from graveyard, so that Zeus will be negated, but I won't be able to steal it. I activate my second Multirole, which I have been keeping for this time, and then I normal summon Roze. Using Roze, I go into Hayate, hoping to be able to mill a spell to my grave, and it actually connects this time, so I send Engage to the graveyard. And then I go into Kagari, and I target Engage to get it back to my hand. Then using Engage, I can draw 2 cards since I already have 3 spells in grave. I search for Afterburners to be able to get rid of the Zeus, and having drawn Terraforming by the other card, I activate them first. Then I use Afterburner, destroying the Zeus. Zeus is already negated, so even if it does chain, it's not gonna do it. Then I go into Shizuku once more before ending my turn, so I can get another card to my hand. I also use Multirole, so I can get most of my resources back, such as the Engage, Widow Anchor, and Afterburner. Now the main reason I'm getting Engage back is because Shizuku can only search for a spell that you don't already have in graveyard, and I want to be able to search for the second Engage. With 2 cards in hand, my opponents realize they can't do anything about it, and they just concede. For my second game, my opponent is playing Blackwing and a huge amount of hand traps with some Rage Raptor and Phantom Knight cards. I started Terraforming first, just in case they have an Ash, and it ends up that they do have an Ash. Which is good for me, because now it means they won't be able to Ash Reinforcement of the army, since Ash is a once per turn. So I can safely fire Reinforcements of the army and get my Raye back. I normal summon Raye and immediately go into Shizuku once more. I set my Shark Cannons, and then I search for Engage with Shizuku in the end phase. They will start with summoning just 3 Blackwings onto the field, and go into battle phase to kill the Shizuku. I use Raye's effect, and get her back on the field, and when they attempt to attach into Raye, I draw back and summon Shizuku. They will match C here, and draw in 1 more card. However, this is not very bad for me, since that's the only card they will be drawing with Max C. Once they try to attack with Bora, I activate Shark Cannon, so I can get one more spell in grave, and then Shizuku will be able to beat Bora in battle. Then they go into Time Thief Redoer here, and pass the turn back to me. I will activate Shizuku since I summoned it this turn, but they also have the Ash Blossom, so I won't be able to get the second engage. Now it's my turn and I draw an effect Whaler. They activate the effect of Timeless Reader in the standby phase and get a monster Reborn. Now I'm trying to think if I can kill them this turn. So I start with an engage, searching for a Widow Enter, and then I find up a field spell. I activate the field spell, and then I stand a gem in waste of the graveyard to be able to search for more cards in my deck. And I end up finding another Widow Enter, which is excellent for me. Then I go into Kagari to get back the engage and have more resources. And then I activate the engage, searching for Roze, because I'm trying to kill them there, so I want access to more bodies that I can summon. And I don't want to get Raye, because Raye has to be normal summoned, and I want to spend my normal summon on a Pet Whaler this turn. So I think Roze is the optimal choice here. Then I end up drawing another field spell, which is a little unfortunate. So I don't want to summon any monsters on the field yet, since I won't be able to activate Strike Scatter spells once I do, so I start with a Widow Enter activation. They chain Redoer, but I already have the second Widow Enter. And with that I'm able to steal their Time Thief Redoer. Then I'll go into China just so that I can summon Roze. Then I will go into Zeke here. I accidentally activated Zeke's first effect here, which I shouldn't have done. So I have to banish Time Thief Redoer in this combo, unfortunately. I chain Redoer, but it's already negated. But this is not going to end up mattering in the long run, and you'll see why shortly. Then I activate the second effect of the Zeke, which is what I meant to do, and send my field spell to the graveyard. I also chain Shark Cannon, so I can steal their Ash Blossom as a more material. And this should still be lethal if they don't have any interaction. I activate the field spell to get a Raye, and this is where I get Nibiru as their last card. Nibiru tributes all monsters on my field and summons them a Nibiru, giving me a Nibiru token. Luckily, I can still activate Raye in the graveyard to bring her back. And I already have the second field spell. So I will start by summoning an Effect Whaler, and using the Effect Whaler and the token, I will go into Tristan Halt to Fibrax. This is the Accesscode combo. So I use Tristan Halt Fibrax, get an Effect Whaler from my deck, then using Effect Whalers and Halt to Fibrax, I will go into Celine, Queen of the Master Magicians. Celine gets a counter for every spell in the graveyard, and then using 3 counters, she can summon a spellcaster from the graveyard to a zone she points to. Then using Celine and Effect Whaler, I will summon Accesscode Filter. Accesscode Filter gains attack equal to the link number of the Celine times 1000, which will be 3000, and he will have 5300 attack. The second effect of Accesscode allows me to banish link monsters with different attributes, so I can destroy one card on my opponent's field. So using that, I will be able to destroy their Nibiru. And then I will link Raye into Shizuku, because there is no way I can get to lethal since I already used Kagari, but at least Shizuku will be able to get me another card in the end phase, and hoping that will be enough. I hit for 5300 and 1500, and in the end phase I will activate Shizuku, getting the Multirole, and we'll see if my opponent will be able to do anything. And they realize they have no options left, and they also surrender. Our last match today is a friend build, and I'm once again playing against Fearless Subscriber Day. I will be going first. I start with the Multirole, so it counts the activation of my spells. Then I start with the field spell, and then I normal summon Raye. Using field spell, I target the Raye to send it to the graveyard and search the 3 cards of my deck, but I can also chain Raye to this effect, and be able to get the link monster with the Raye, and also get the search with the field spell. They activate Maxx here to chain to my Raye, but it's not really going to matter because all they will be able to draw for this turn is one card. I'll summon Shizuku and I'll get the search with my field spell, and they will draw their own card. I get to add Widow Enter to my hand here, which is great, so I will set the Widow Enter and Shark Cannon and activate Shizuku to search for an engage. They start their turn with a Fractal activation, sending Norval to the graveyard. Then using Norval, they add Travergate Kit to their hand and they normal summon the Kit. As they banish Patrols for the Kit to do a Link 2, I chain Maxx, so I will be able to draw one card. I'll draw a card when they Link Summon, and just because they don't want to make me draw more cards, they ended up ending their turn right away. So I'll start with an Afterburner, destroying the Ferryjet. Ferryjet activate and draws them one card, and then they send Statue to their deck. I will activate the field spell, sending Shark Cannon to grave, so that I can search for more cards. While I haven't done it, probably should have chained the Shark Cannon so I can also banish one card from their graveyard, but it's not going to end up mattering. I will activate Afterburner, destroying their Kit, and then with 3 spells in grave I will activate Engage, searching for another Widow Enter, and I end up drawing the Veiler. While I won't be able to draw for a lethal here, I will have a ton of negates that I can set. So I will draw for a Kadari, get an Engage back, and then I will activate Engage once more, searching for a Hercules base so I can cycle the Kadari. Then I will Link Summon into Hayate, go into battle and hit with Hayate to send another card from my deck to graveyard, just to increase the number of spells in my grave. Then I will set 2 cards, and then Link Summon into Shizuku for the end phase, so I can draw another card using Shizuku's effect. I also use Multirole to set another Afterburner in case I need it for next turn. Shizuku doesn't have many targets, but I do end up using Hornet runs. They will start with a Fractal once more, sending Norval. Norval activates drawing them a Kit, and then they will normal summon the Kit, the same line as before. As they banish 2 cards, I will chain Chalice here to negate the Kit and stop Link Summon from happening. Then they will go for the other Tri-Brigade here, using its effect to Link Summon once more, and I already have an effect Veiler for that, so I will negate this summon as well. From here they go into a Fergie. Unfortunately there isn't much they can do here. They will activate Kit sending Norval to the grave, but then they will immediately concede knowing that there isn't much that they can do. Now, let's look at a few highlights from these games. I also use Multirole, so I can get most of my resources back, such as the Engage, Widow Enter, and Afterburner. Now, the main reason I'm getting Engage back is because Shizuku can only search for a spell that you don't already have in graveyard, and I want to be able to search for the second Engage. And go into battle phase to kill the Shizuku. I use Raye's effect and get her back on the field, and when they attempt to attack into Raye, I draw back and summon Shizuku. They will Maxx here and draw in one more card. However, this is not very bad for me since that's the only card they will be drawing with Maxx. Once they try to attack with Bora, I activate Shark Cannon, so I can get one more spell in grave, and then Shizuku will be able to beat Bora in battle. Then they go into Time Thief Redoer here, and pass the turn back to me. I will activate Shizuku since I summoned it this turn, but they also have the Ash Blossom, so I won't be able to get the second Engage. So I will start by summoning an Effect Veiler, and using the Effect Veiler and the token, I will go into Crystal Hall to Fibre. This is the Accesscode combo. So I use Crystal Hall to Fibre, get an Effect Veiler from my deck, then using Effect Veilers and Hall to Fibre, I will go into Celine, Queen of the Master Magicians. Celine gets a counter for every spell in the graveyard, and then using 3 counters, she can summon a spellcaster from the graveyard to a zone she points to. Then using Selene and a Fate Veiler, I will summon Accesscode Filter. Accesscode Filter gains attack equal to the link number of the Selene times 1000, which will be 3000, and he will have 5300 attack. The second effect of Accesscode allows me to banish link monsters with different attributes, so I can destroy one card on my opponent's field. So using that, I will be able to destroy their Nibiru. Then I start with the field spell, and then I normal summon Raye. Using field spell, I target the Raye to send it to the graveyard and search the 3 cards of my deck, but I can also chain Raye to this effect, and be able to get the link monster with the Raye, and also get the search with the field spell. They activate Maxx here to chain to my Raye, but it's not really going to matter, because all they will be able to draw for this turn is 1 card. I'll summon Shizuku, and I'll get the search with my field spell, and they will draw their 1 card. I get to add Widowmaker to my hand here. So we're back with the deck, and wow, these games are much more difficult than before. I still think this deck does really well against the meta, but it has definitely been more difficult and the matches have been more close, and I haven't been playing it perfectly either. So if you look at how to improve this deck, I'm currently thinking of cutting some of the shark channels since they haven't been doing that great in higher ranks, and I haven't necessarily seen any Eldritch either, so maybe the Gemon Waves can come out, but if you do see a lot of Eldritch players, the Gemon Waves is great. So in place of the 2 shark channels, you can possibly put another Maxx, Ash, or Veiler, or just any other hand scrap such as Nibiru. But if you do want to play a bit more stun oriented, you can also try Kaiser Colosseum or There Can Be Only One in order to stop the opponent from playing the game. If you are going to be using these cards, you want to be going first, but if you are going to be very hand trap heavy, then this deck would do better going second. I have been getting a lot of feedback from you lately, and I love it. If you have any other questions that you want to ask, or if there is a type of video that you would like to see in the future, please don't forget to comment below. Also, stick around for the next time, because in a few days we will be playing Maxx. I'll see you then.